Our final inductee to the Fairview High School Athletic Hall of Fame is a three-sports star who I had the pleasure to coach in junior high school on the basketball team, and then again during his 3 years as the quarterback of the Fairview Warriors football team. From the class of 1982, we are proud to induct Dan Schmidt, who was, without a doubt, the most physically and mentally toughest player that I had coached in my 10 years here at Fairview High School. He was also a very emotional athlete, which created other kinds of challenges, but his talent, his competitiveness, his confidence, and his love for the game made him one of the best players that I have ever watched compete in my 37 years in the Fairview schools. In track and field, Dan was a high jumper, and he excelled in that event as well. In his junior year, Dan broke a 25-year-old high jump record that has stood for many, many years. But it was on the football field where Dan made his biggest and most dramatic contributions. As a 3-year quarterback, Dan was what we now call a dual threat quarterback, meaning he could excel and score with his passing and also with his running. In his junior year, we adopted an offense called the run and shoot, which is similar to the spread offense today that you see, and it's used when you have a very mobile quarterback like Danny was. The first year with this offense, Dan led the Fairview High School team to a 5-5 record. He was proficient in both throwing for touchdowns as he was for running for them. And he was selected as a second-team All-Southwest Conference pick at quarterback. But as a senior, Fairview finished with a season record of 7 wins and 3 losses, missing the playoffs with the final loss to Avon Lake in the last game of the season. In this magical season, Dan threw for 14 touchdown passes and ran for 4 more. Both he and his favorite target, Mike Carney, made the Cleveland Plain Dealer and the Cleveland Press all-scholastic teams. They were also the featured players in a Plain Dealer article on the Warrior football team after starting the season 4-0. The article was titled Mr. Fling to Mr. Kling, and then Dan was selected as the Warriors' Offensive Back of the Year for that 1981 football season. Also during that season, Dan was selected as a co-first team All-Southwestern Conference quarterback, sharing that honor with a young man from Westlake who was also an All-Ohio selection for Division I football players. And as an aside, we did beat Westlake that year, and Dan was very proud of that and had an outstanding game. And that year, Dan was also the recipient of the weekly Plain Dealer Dream Team Award. Now that award recognized just 5 players per week across Northeast Ohio for their outstanding performance under the Friday Night Lights. Now Dan's selection into the Hall of Fame is about more than just his exceptional athletic gifts and accomplishments. It's also appropriate for the toughness that he brought to the game. In his senior season, Dan separated his shoulder in our first game of the year. Our team doctor reduced the shoulder or put it back together and then sent Dan back out to finish the game. Now this happened multiple times during the next few games, and eventually by mid-season a harness had to be created so that we could limit the movement of his left arm and his shoulder. It was an inconvenience that Dan endured, and he insisted, along with his parents, that he continue to play. I had to stop calling running plays for Dan so that he wouldn't have to take that kind of punishment, and he was not very happy about that. In fact, he threw 14 touchdown passes his senior year and ran for 4 touchdowns and could have run for 10 if we allowed him to run the ball more. But the courage and the determination that Dan showed to play through that pain and injury was remarkable for a high school athlete, but it was indicative of Dan's tenacity. After graduating from Fairview High School, Dan went to Dayton University on an athletic scholarship and then transferred later to Baldwin Wallace University, where he continued to play football. And it is with deep personal pride that we honor Dan Schmidt's outstanding athletic career with his induction into the Fairview Park Athletic Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Danny.